Everybody, and welcome to this week's lesson dedicated to the Escuela Oficial de Idiomas English exam. This exam is very popular in Spain, and people require this English exam to become a civil servant or to become a secondary school or a primary school teacher. So this exam is very popular in Spain in particular. So for people preparing for this exam, this lesson hopefully will be very interesting, but also for anybody learning English, I think this lesson will be very valuable and very important. Everybody can learn from this lesson today, and that is my intention. So I'm starting a little earlier. This was advertised for 11:45, but I'm starting earlier because it's a summer's day and I'm trying to complete the work sooner than normal. Okay, so if you have a comment, if you have a question, please leave your comment in the Facebook chat. Please say hello, and thank you everybody for watching from different parts online. And it's fantastic that people are watching this video, and thank you so much for paying attention. So please leave your comment in the chat and let's begin. If you want to contact me on the social media channels, you are welcome to contact me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, and also on WhatsApp as well. So I have all the social media channels, and you're very welcome to join and follow me on any of them. Today, the schedule is more or less the same compared to the previous weeks. And I have 18 different lessons this week. So an incredible amount of lessons, free, public, and it's a huge effort. And I think there's lots of very interesting topics here for people to follow. So I really hope that you can join some of these lessons with me. And this is the timetable and this is the schedule here beside me. So please, I hope that you can join, and thank you for your participation as well. Everything is free, everything is for the public, but if you want to support me, you have the ability to make a donation or to make a subscription with my bank details here, or also via PayPal. It's very easy to make a monthly subscription, and this will help me a lot. Similarly with businesses, if you are a company and a business and a school and you want to advertise during my lesson or sponsor my project, you are very welcome to do this, and I can speak about your company in return. I'm very happy to direct students to your school because from my position it's not possible to create speaking lessons, so this is the best I can do, and therefore I'm happy to collaborate and maybe put students in contact with your classes. Okay, so let's begin. And last week I think we looked at some reading exercises, and this week we continue with some reading exercises. So give me one moment because my screen is flashing and I tried to fix that with my camera. So I'm just turning off for one moment and I will return now, and hopefully that will fix the problem. Okay. So yes, last week we did some reading exercises, and the previous week we also did some reading exercises, and today is exactly the same, except the style is very different. Okay, so this is the task. This is task 3. And here you can see the instructions. We have 9 questions and 1 mark per question. So the instruction is read the text and complete each gap with one suitable phrase from the list supplied. So basically to fill the gap with the correct phrase from the list. Next, then write your answers in the boxes provided on the sheet. You receive a page during the exam, and it's necessary to write the correct option in the correct box. Each sentence can only be used once, so we can only use the option one time. And there are 3 phrases you will not need. Okay, so here are the list of options, and basically there's 3 of these options that we do not need. Okay, so I will keep this open during the exercise to try and refresh our mind, but this is the list. Okay, the topic is all you need to know about esports, electronic sports, this very popular game, competition nowadays that people compete on the computer games, competitions, and that's known as esport. So this is the first paragraph. What is esports? The second paragraph, where can I watch esports? The third paragraph, what type of esports should I play? The fourth, can I make a career? Can I make a living out of esports? And the fifth, how did it begin? How did esports start? Number 6, will esports be in the Olympics? So 6 individual topics related to this topic of esports. And the options are a way to achieve your goal and other content about the game and players. Option C, as the popularity of sport continues to grow. Option D, be sure to get the right equipment for the job. 2. Sentence E, both amateurs and professionals. Sentence F, by making competitive gaming easily accessible to. Sentence G, if you prefer sports games like Madden or FIFA. Sentence H, if you reach a very high level in your game of choice. Sentence I, many amateur players become addicted to them. Sentence J, prioritize becoming great at one. Sentence K, some of the most popular games in esports. L, they can be extremely exhausting. M, whose popularity is sweeping the world. So very different sentences, and we need to understand and place the correct sentence in the correct position on the text. So it is important to open the options at the same time. And during this lesson, I want to show you the key vocabulary as well. So little by little, we try to explain, and the first paragraph I begin reading the first paragraph for pronunciation and to understand the text, and also to stop and show you the key vocabulary and the key expressions from the first paragraph. So, what is esports? Short for electronic sports. Esports is competitive video gaming at a professional level. In the same way that conventional sports like tennis and golf hold tournaments for the top players in the world, esports bring individual players or teams together to do battle in competitive video games like League of Legends and Overwatch. These competitions are exciting spectator sports. And option 0, I think, is already given to us. Maybe option 0 is M, whose popularity is sweeping the world. So basically, they are exciting spectator sports whose popularity are sweeping the world. So we have some very important vocabulary here. The first expression is sweeping the world. And this means moving around the world very fast, because to sweep is this action. You can obviously sweep the floor, and the verb to sweep the world means moving around the world in a very, very fast and dominating way. So it's becoming extremely popular, it's becoming extremely important, and played in lots of different parts. So it's sweeping the world. It's a phenomena, it's a trend, it's like viral, going viral. So it's a very good expression, sweeping the world. That is the first key expression from the text. The next expression is to hold a tournament. Okay, so the verb to hold is very important. We use this verb in many situations. You can hold the hand, you can hold a baby, you can hold your nerve, and this means to be calm. You can hold your horses, and this is a metaphor to be very patient. You can hold, there's lots of different combinations, but really here, to hold a party, to hold a meeting, to hold an event is exactly the context that's necessary here. And basically it means to organize and to manage and to control. So you are holding the event, therefore you are responsible, you are organizing the event, and it's very important that you are holding the event. So in this situation, golf and tennis hold tournaments. Basically they manage the tournaments and they organize their own tournaments. Okay. Next, we have the phrase, we have the verb to bring plus the preposition together. That's a very typical combination, to bring together. For example, sport typically brings different people together. So that's the first combination, to bring together. A party will bring people together. It will assemble and people will join. It brings people together. So it's a really good combination, to bring people together. The next expression is to do battle. And the verb is to battle individual. It is possible, the verb to battle, to fight, but it is also possible to do battle, and this becomes the noun. Battle becomes the substantive. You're doing battle. However, it is a possible verb independently, and the verb is to battle, to fight. And we have lots of context. I'll give you a few examples here. To battle the traffic means obviously to fight with the traffic. To battle the weather is the same as well. If you battle the weather, this means that you are trying to fight with the weather. You're having difficulty because it's really unpredictable. You're fighting with the weather. And we have other expressions. To have battle on your hands means that you have a battle in front of you. You're in the middle of a battle. We have another expression, in the heat of the battle. And this means that the intensity of a fight, people behave differently. So you made a comment in the heat of the moment. So you're having an argument and you say something that you regret. So in the heat of a battle is the same. You say or you do something that's not what you want to do in normal time. So in the heat of the battle as well. It is a phrasal verb to heat up, and this is literal. In your room, you heat up, you increase the temperature, but also when the intensity is increasing, something is heating up. It's becoming more intense, more interesting as well. Okay, so that is very important word. And in this situation, the expression is to do battle. And this means basically to battle or to fight. It's a more creative or more fluent way to say the verb to battle. Okay, great. Again, a spectator is the person who watches the sport. Very simple. Okay, that's the first paragraph, and I think the option is very clear. Let's continue to the second paragraph, and the title is Where Can I Watch Esports? The location. And I read again just to understand the paragraph. The most common place to watch esports is online. Computers, tablets, and mobile devices are all perfect for streaming live events for free online. The most popular streaming services are currently Twitch.com and YouTube. These two free streaming networks offer lots of official esport tournaments, archives. So the sentence here is very, very clear. The context, I think, is very clear. So we are speaking about the streaming service, the streaming network like Twitch and YouTube. First, we must understand the word a stream. What is a stream? Okay, so a stream basically is the name of a type of a river. Usually the start of the river is the stream. It's a very small river, but it's very important. And this is the context. It's very similar to a river. In English, we have a lot of expressions connected to this. We say mainstream media, for example, and this means it's the most important, the most dominant media. The main is the principal, the main street, the main shop. So the mainstream is the most dominant media. And this means most people, the majority of people are watching this media. So it's a very important word, specifically the word mainstream. However, the verb to stream is the verb nowadays connected to the internet, because even me, during this lesson, I am streaming my video because the connection is similar to the flow of the river. So I send a signal like a stream, and that is the significance of streaming. And that's what we say today for video games. You stream, television, streaming, online, specifically online, not the television? No, it's the internet. Okay, so that's very important. So that's the context. The two free streaming networks, Twitch and YouTube, offer lots of official esport tournaments. The pronunciation of archive, so the CH frequently is like a K, and this is exactly the same. Archives is pronunciation like a K. So in this context, we should hopefully be able to identify the answer. And where are my options gone? Yes, there are my options. So I need to just make this small, and to call the options again. So here we have the options. And what is the most appropriate option here, do you think? So the service Twitch and YouTube offer a way to achieve your goal. Maybe, because your goal is to watch the channel. And other content about the games and players. Yes, the channels offer other content about games and players. That's definitely possible. As the popularity of the game, no. Be sure to get a no. Both amateurs and professionals, no, not in this context. By making competitive gaming easily accessible to, no, because it's the end of the sentence. If you prefer, no. Games like Madden. Madden is a type of American football game, and FIFA is the soccer football game. If you reach a very high level in your game of choice, not connected. Many amateur, no. Okay, no. Some of the most popular games in esport, no, because it doesn't connect with archives. I think option B definitely is a candidate. So it offers archives, esport tournaments, archives, and other content about games and players. Yes, that's the correct answer, because archives and A doesn't fit. So the correct answer is, I think, B. That is my guess. So 17, I'm going to suggest, is B. 18. Esports are also making their way onto mainstream television. So television, we use the preposition on because it's a surface on television. And again, mainstream has the significance, the most dominant, the most important. The principal television channels is mainstream television. And the preposition, as I said, is important, onto, because it's a surface to television. So esports are now finding the way, are making their way to the television as well. Networks like ESPN and TBS have broadcasted esports coverage. Very, very important verb. The verb is to broadcast. And here you can see two words, and the word is broad and the verb is to cast. Okay, so broad is very similar to wide. We have lots of context here. We can say broad shoulders. We can say Broadway in the United States. And the verb is also to broaden the street, for example. So, as I said, the synonym is wide, and broad shoulders has the significance that your shoulders are very wide and you're very strong. Okay, Broadway is the location in America. It's the avenue and the street in America that has all the theaters, all the musicals, and the famous places for the theater and for the performances, that is known as Broadway. And the verb to broaden the street is to make wider the street. So and then the verb to cast is very important, because when you go fishing, you cast your net. This means to throw your net. So it's possible to cast your net, and this means the verb to throw. Okay, and this is the same significance in the movies. You have the cast because you are searching for the best actors and the best actresses. That is the cast. So to broadcast basically means to throw, to send the signal very wide, and to send it far. So that's the significance to broadcast. It's like transmit. Basically, that is the synonym to transmit. And here it's the same. Have broadcasted. It's the present perfect, because the formula to create the present perfect, we need the auxiliary verb have plus the participle broadcasted. Esports coverage and something, television coverage of it is likely to do the same. So likely is the significance probable. It is likely to rain. It is probable to rain. So the sentence is, networks such as ESPN and TBS have broadcasted esports coverage and something, televised coverage of it is likely to do the same. Of it, we don't know what is it. So let's look at the options and check again. And they broadcasted esports coverage and no A, B, C, no D, E, both amateurs and professionals. No, doesn't connect with the second part. F, by making competitive games easily accessible to. No. G, if you prefer. No. H, I, J, prioritize becoming great at some of the most popular games in esport. What do you think? Hopefully you have an opportunity as well to find the answer the same as me. I decided to take the chance and try to do this with you at the same time. And I'm thinking with K. So the esports coverage and some of the most popular games in esports. Maybe K. At the moment I have a feeling for K. And that's the only answer for me at the minute. At the minute I have the answer K, but this could be incorrect because in the sentence, the networks like ESPN and TBS have broadcasted esports coverage and some of the most popular games in esports. Televised coverage of it is likely to do the same. Not sure. Not sure. Maybe an other content. I'm not sure. Maybe this, as the popularity of sport continues to grow. Yes, that's better. That's better. Because the second sentence is, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. To do the same. Okay. I'm not sure. I really have a doubt. As I said, I'm thinking C or K. So let me write my options in my text and we continue to the next one. As I said, I'm thinking C or K. And sometimes I have great difficulty with these exercises. Always I have difficulty with the reading exercises, even though I'm obviously a native English speaker and a teacher. Let's continue to the next one, and hopefully they are a little easier. What esports should I play? So should is the modal verb for recommendation and for suggestion. So what games do you suggest, do you recommend that I play? Whichever ones you decide you enjoy. So whichever is considered a indefinite pronoun, very difficult, such as somebody, anybody, anywhere, anything, whichever, whatever. Those categories, those words are in the category of indefinite pronoun. The most popular games have the tendency to be multiplayer games, battle arena games. So obviously the battle arena is the place where you can have the battle, have the fight online with a lot of people in a stadium or in one particular location. And first person shooter. So a shooter, the verb is to shoot, the pistol, shoot the gun, and the shooter is the person who is taking this action. And in the video games, those games are very popular. People play these games where they travel with the pistols. But something focus on those, so that the context, the most popular games tend to be multiplayer games, but focus on those. Okay, yes, I think I have the answer here. Yes, let me see. Yes, K. This is definitely K. But some of the most popular games in esports focus on those types. So this is clear for me. Some of the most, you can see K, some of the most popular games in esports focus on those, and those is the substitution for battle arena and first person shooters. And some of the most important games, popular games, focus on those topics. So I think 19 is definitely K, and that would be my answer for 19. Definitely 19 is K. So therefore, I'm going to select and suggest that 18, hopefully, is C with lots of doubts. Number 20, choose a game that you like and are good at. This is very simple but very, very important. The preposition good at. This means you have an ability. You're good at swimming, you're good at tennis, you're good at mathematics. This means you have the ability and you have the skill and you have the talent. You're good at something. And that's very simple but very important. So basically the structure to be good at means you have the skill and the ability. Okay, to be good at something. And that's very, very important to remember. Okay, and yes, so choose the game that you are good at, that you have the ability, that you have talent, as one to pursue. And the verb to pursue means to follow or to continue. Very important as well, because the noun is pursuit. And we typically say in pursuit. If you are in pursuit of somebody, you are following that person. So to pursue means to follow with determination and to continue to pursue. Very important vocabulary. To pursue playing competitively. Okay. Keep in mind that most serious esports players, something, focus on mastering and practicing one single game. So keep in mind that most serious esport players, that's the subject, probably we have maybe description or a verb. Well, the verb is focus on mastering and practicing one single game. So that's the sentence. Most serious esport players is the subject. The verb is focus on mastering and practicing the game. But we need a sentence that will add information to this. Most serious esports players. A, no. B, no. C, no. D, no. E, maybe E. Maybe E, because a serious esport player can be amateur and a serious esport player can be professional. So I think E seems to be the standout and the obvious option at the moment. Option E. And F, by making competitive gaming easily available to, no. G, if you, no. Okay, so I think the answer clearly is E. Yeah, E. So E would be, just to show you again, to finish the answer, both amateurs and professional, because the context is the players, and you can have amateur players and you can have professional players, so that fits perfectly here. And also it continues before the verb. They all focus on mastering. This means to become a master, to become perfect at one single game. Okay, very clear. So I think 20 again was E, and let me put that in my notes, 20E. And we continue to 21. Instead of stretching yourself too thin. Very, very good expression. Trying to become good at many games. So first, we must understand this expression, and it's very advanced. The verb is to stretch. You stretch your muscles, you stretch your body. Before you exercise, you stretch. When you grow, typically the teenager grows, they stretch or they take a stretch. So we have lots of expressions here, and I will show you. We say to take a stretch means to grow physically. A stretch in the evening has the significance the evening is becoming more brighter. And to stretch your money means to make the most, to maximize your money. You stretch your money, you stretch your muscles. That's very well known as well. And a stretch of road is a patch, a period, a length, a particular area of road is a stretch of road. So it's an incredibly common word in English. And to stretch the truth is almost a lie, almost something false. You're stretching the truth. You're making something sound unbelievable. So it's incredibly flexible. And here, you stretch yourself too thin. So you stretch yourself, you try to focus on different things. But when you focus on different things, you become very thin and very weak. So it's a better idea to focus on one, all your energy, all your effort on one, and you're very strong, because if you stretch yourself too thin, you're open and you're vulnerable. So that's a really, really famous and advanced expression, to stretch yourself too thin. This means you become very vulnerable because you're focusing on too many different things. So instead of doing this, because you're trying to become good at many games, so probably the contrast is to focus on one or two. And let's look at the options. What do you think? Yes, that's very, very clear, because the contrast is, instead of trying to be good at many, prioritize, simply become good at one. That's really good quality, and I think that's very clear. But the difficult expression is stretch yourself too thin, and people might be confused with that expression, but it's very fluent. It's like an idiom or an expression. So J seems to be very clear for 21. So let me put the answer here for 21, J. And 22. So this will give you the best chance, this will give you the best opportunity at succeeding. This is a really important verb. The verb is to succeed, and this means to have success. So success is the noun, and the verb is to succeed. So really important, the verb to succeed, and the noun is to have success, and the adjective is successful. So of course, very, very important, family and connection of words. But the verb is typical: succeed at plus ing, succeed at winning, succeed at doing, succeed at achieving. So it's very typical structure: succeed at plus the ing. And in the sentence, it's not here, but it's just a verb to succeed, to have success in your top game, in your best game. Okay, next. Can I make a career from esports? So basically, out of is from. Can I make a career? Can I make money? Can I earn a living from esports? Similar to professional sports, like professional sports, only the absolute best players in the world can compete at the highest level. So only the best players have the ability, have the possibility, have the permission to compete. This is the verb. Competition is the noun. The verb is to compete at location, the highest level, at the highest level. Becoming a professional, so to transform or to convert to a professional, is open to anybody. Anybody can become a professional. There's no restriction, but only the best of the best. Very good expression, the best of the best. La crème de la crème in French, and sometimes we say that in English as well. So the best of the best is really the la crème de la crème, and we also say the cream always rises to the top, and that's a very well-known expression, that the best things always become important again, and that's well known. So the best of the best will go on, and that means proceed. If you go on, you proceed to have careers in the field, in the area, in the industry. So only the really best and the talented will proceed to have a career in that industry, in that sphere, in that world. After long hours practicing something, consider starting a Twitch stream to build notoriety for yourself and look for local tournaments to compete in. So this sentence is important to understand completely before we find the answer. After long hours practicing, something connected to after practicing, consider starting a stream to build notoriety. Notoriety is like fame, like to become famous and to become well known for yourself, and look for local tournaments to compete in. Okay, so the context here is long hours practicing. A way to achieve your goal: no. B, no. C, D, E, F, G. Maybe H. I, no. difficult. This is not clear, I don't think. And maybe I'll show you here just so you can see everything. Well, it's difficult, so I have to move this up here, and we try to find the best answer so you can see all the options. What do you think? So after long hours practicing, consider starting a Twitch stream. So the context is practicing a lot of games and practicing for a long time. Maybe L, they can become exhausting, so you become very tired. Maybe many amateur players become addicted to them. Yes, but them is obviously the games, and in the first sentence we're not speaking about the games, we're speaking about the hours, and you don't become addicted to hours, you become addicted to games. So I is not. Yes, I think H. Yeah, I think H is a conditional. So you should consider starting a Twitch stream to build notoriety of yourself only if you reach a very high level in your game of choice, because nobody will watch you if you're not good. So only open the Twitch stream to build notoriety only if you reach a very high level in your game. So you need to think a lot. I need to think and analyze a lot. And I think the best answer seems to be H. So let's select the answer H. And yes, I'm going to put that here. 23. If, again, conditional, if you decide to devote, you devote time and you devote energy to, that's a typical structure, to devote time to, devote something to. So that's the typical structure. You devote time to something, you devote money to something, you devote energy to something. Becoming a professional. Okay, so the context is very clear. The sentence finishes, if you decide to devote time and energy to becoming a professional, be sure to get the right equipment for the job too. Maybe, that's definitely a possibility. So if you want to become a professional, you need the correct equipment for the job too. Possibly, that's a very strong answer. And that's it. Yeah, okay, so that's very clear. So I'm happy because I think I'm confident with most of the answers. 23 is D. At the moment, 24. A good PC and a comfortable chair can elevate your game to the next level. So we continue speaking about equipment. So definitely, I think option 23 is related to equipment. And next, the question is the origin of the esports. When did it start? Competitive tournaments in video games date back to the 1970s. So the first competitive video game tournaments are from the 1970s with the world's top gamers. Remember, a gamer is a person who plays the games online. Competing, remember the verb is to compete and the noun is competition, for high scores in classic arcade games like Pac-Man. Esports started to take on more global popularity. This is a phrasal verb, to take on. It's like to absorb or to assume. In the company take on workers. Let me write this because it's very important. Company take on workers. You take on more responsibility. And this means that you really assume more responsibility. So the phrasal verb is to take on. And there is another situation, to take your opponent. Excuse me. So to take your opponent on means to challenge your opponent. So the significance here is to challenge. To take your opponent on means to challenge in this particular case, but the other cases mean assume. Okay, so esports started to assume more popularity, to become more popularity in the 2000s with tournaments being shown. That's the passive. The structure of the passive is the verb to be plus the past participle. That's the passive. On television. On for the preposition because television is a surface. Online streaming services, that's the subject, have helped blow up. So here we have the present perfect, started in the past, it's finished, but it continues to be relevant. Have helped to blow up esports. and this means to have it really exaggerated and very big. So to blow up is to make something very, very big, like to inflate. And with the balloon, you blow up the balloon, you inflate the balloon into the phenomenon that it is today. Okay, and then the final 24 for this paragraph, millions of viewers around the world. And let's see, millions of viewers around the world. Yes, okay, it's very clear for me as well, finally. So the streaming services have helped. The streaming services have contributed to inflate esports. How? By making competitive gaming easily accessible. Accessible is typical with the preposition to. Accessible to you, accessible to me, accessible to them, accessible to millions of viewers or spectators around the world. So that's very clear connection. F seems to be the best answer for 24. And let's check. So 24 is F. 25, we continue. So we have another paragraph. Question: will esports be in the Olympics? Do you expect esports to be in the Olympics? This is a question surrounded by the verb to surround. You can surround the building, you can surround the person, you can surround the incident. So people surround. So the question is surrounded by. Plenty is the significance. A lot, plenty, a lot, loads of, piles of, tons of, a lot of controversy. Fans and players of esports, that's the subject. The verb is believe that their sport belongs, possession belongs in the Olympics. While, in this situation, while has the significance however. Whereas, while, however, many other people fail to recognize. Very good. This means they do not recognize esports as sports. So recognize something as is the typical structure. You recognize him as, okay, at all, completely not. So others completely do not recognize esports as a sport. There have been, this is the present perfect, there have been discussions, arguments, debates between the International Committee and top officials. In 2017, the IOC said that for esports to be in the Olympics, the content of the events must not infringe. Okay, this is very complicated because a fringe is part of your hair. For example, my hair, this is my hair, and my fringe is the front part. This is my fringe. But sometimes the fringe comes down to here. Okay, so maybe people have a fringe down to here, and I would look very different. If I had a fringe to here, I would look very different. So this is your fringe. It's the extra part of your hair. The most important part is here, but this is the fringe. So we say on the fringe of society, and this means on the outside of society. If you are on the fringe of society, you're on the outside of society. So you're maybe neglected. Okay, so that might be the key word here: neglected and forgotten and not cared about. So the verb to infringe on is like to invade, like violate or invade. Maybe they'd be the best translations. To invade on, or damage, or encroach. Lots of difficult proficient vocabulary, but basically the events must not damage the values of the Olympics. They must not affect the Olympic values. With this in mind, something featuring violence might not be improved. So with this in mind, here it's the verb featuring, so probably we need the subject. Might not be improved. And let's look at the options. I don't know. I don't know. So something about games. I think games with violence. So it's the content with games and other content about games and players. No, because and doesn't connect with a comma, but it's a good option. No. H, I, J, K. Some of the most popular games in esports. Maybe K. Yeah, I think the only option is K. So this means we need to change one of our answers, but K, with this in mind, some of the most popular games in esports featuring with parts of the characteristics being violent might not, may not, could not be approved. So I think 25 definitely is K. So this changes our answer again. So we need to think of a different answer for 19. So let's go back to number 19. And now we are warmed up. We're feeling good because we have a lot of practice, and hopefully this is easier now. So which esports should I play? What games should I play? Whichever ones you enjoy. The most popular games tend to be multiplayer online battle arena games. But something focus on these. But maybe E, but we had this already. K is perfect. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I think K is the same as well. Are we allowed to use it more than once? Each sentence can only be used once, so we have a problem with 19. So that's a good idea, that's a good effort, that's a good attempt. Obviously, in an exam, I might spend more time to try and find the answer myself, but obviously I'm on the video here, so I don't want you to fall asleep or disconnect. But it's a good idea to spend time to look at the possible answer for number 19, and it should be easy because it's not too difficult. The verb is focus. And again, I'll just try one more time because this is frustrating, of course, not to have the answer. The most popular games tend to be multiplayer games, but some, maybe the individual, but I'll check just one last time. No, we have this already. No. And C, no. And other content about games and players. No, because but and doesn't connect. Okay. No, okay, so I really don't know, but that's okay. And we're finished. So that's good practice. Now the answers are in my notes, but I'm not totally sure. I need to find the answers, and if you have, I can post the answers on the Facebook page at the end of this lesson as well. So I have a different document with the answers, and basically I will put the answers in, the official answers in the Facebook comments if you wish. But I think the vast majority is correct, and I think we did very, very well. But I hope you learned some vocabulary from today. That was the idea, to teach you some vocabulary. And little by little, I think it's a good way to practice. So lots of vocabulary, and at the same time, a good exercise to practice. Great, so I think that's everything for today. Again, today is the official Escuela Oficial de Idiomas in Spain, and this content is from the English exam and very interesting. And I hope that you enjoyed that lesson. Again, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on the social media accounts: WhatsApp, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as well. You're very welcome to join and follow on the social media. My schedule is more or less the same as last week, and we have 18 lessons per week, completely free, completely for the public. It's a big effort, a lot of work, and thank you for watching some of them. If you want to support me, you can make a subscription on PayPal. On my Facebook post, the information to make the PayPal subscription is here. Or if you want to make a transfer with the bank, you're very welcome as well to make the transfer with the details here. And your support is very important. The same for companies and businesses. If you're a school or a business or a company and you want to support my project and finance my project, I can advertise your company here in return to promote your business as well. Great. So thank you so much. And that is everything for today. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and your Monday and have a very good day wherever you are. So thank you for watching. Please leave your comment in the Facebook chat and I can answer your comments after this lesson. Thank you so much. Have a good day and hopefully see you tomorrow in the morning for grammar. Thank you and talk to you soon. Bye bye.